Hi, this is your friendly neighborhood man in Magenta wig, and yes, I am wearing the wig this time because I actually want to talk about Rocky stuff. So, without further ado, let's get into that. Hopefully I'm not sweating too much, I've been kind of sick today, but, I'm just gonna roll with it. This is gonna be another video, no edits, I'll just let it roll, because I kind of liked how the last one turned out. Tired. That poster's gonna fall down in this video, I know it. Tape will not hold that poster for some reason, but yeah. So, yeah, surprising that I'm kind of tired because I've actually slept most of the day. I kind of woke up this morning like my body just doesn't want to move. I felt fevery and bone aches and stuff, so I just, slept away the day, but it's kind of funny that I'm yawning now, but anyway, we came here to talk about Rocky, and that's what we are going to do. So, what I wanted to talk about first was the Pittsburgh Rocky show last week, or this past weekend. It was the JCCP Alumni show. Now, I always really like when they do those because they don't do them that often. I think this is only like the third or fourth one I've seen in the past 8 years. But I really like being able to see performers, and see how they interpreted characters, before my time, before I, started going to Rocky. Because there were a couple faces I did recognize, from years past, that were still performing when I got into Rocky, but there were a lot of people that I hadn't seen before, and I just love seeing that. I love, knowing, oh, this is how they did Frank back then, this is how they did Columbia back in the day, that's just very cool to me. And I have to give a special mention to the Frank too, because when I was waiting outside to get in, the guy walked past me dressed like Ronald McDonald, and I had no idea why. He was going into the theater holding like McDonald's food. And it turned out he was actually the Frank, which was really funny, So, yeah, he did the Frank as Ronald McDonald. I think they even tossed hamburgers, into the audience and stuff. And I actually ended up with Ronald McDonald on my lap at one point, which was really unexpected. But yeah, that was a great show. I should mention too, if you are able to get to Pittsburgh anytime this month, the JCCP are doing shows every single weekend of October. That's one of the reasons I really love October, is that there's Rocky all the time here. And this coming show this week will be just a regular show, and I think the next week they're having a crew show where the crew members play all the characters. So definitely get to Pittsburgh if you can. I always tell people, if they travel around a lot, they like to see different casts. If you haven't seen the JCCP at least once, please come, because you'll definitely enjoy the show. When I bring people, even if they haven't seen Rocky before itself, if they don't know what the movie's about, they always end up enjoying their first show so much they want to come back. So that really does say a lot about the cast. What else Rocky related did I want to get into? Well, I do have the poster for the rear. See, this is the problem with not editing. You get to see me stumble. But anyway, the remake poster back there. Now, if you weren't at RKO Con 2 or any of the other cons where they showed the first 30 minutes of the remake, you may have noticed that there are two pieces of it online. There's science fiction, and then there's Damn It Janet. I'm so glad that came out finally. My burp, I mean, not the remake. I'm glad the remake is coming out too, but I didn't want to sit on that the entire video. But yeah, I mean, I really like the reactions that the remake stuff is getting, because there was so much negativity going around before, just because they were remaking Rocky, and there are really vocal naysayers now. And the odd thing is, it always seems to be people who saw Rocky once 30 years ago and then never again that are complaining about it. It's just silly. It's like, if you're not involved in the fandom of this movie at all, why do you care? But the the hardcore fan community has more or less given it a lot more open mind. And it was so nice, after so many people were worried about how it was going to turn out, to be in a crowd that, saw the first 30 minutes, and a lot of people found a lot of really good things to like about it. It was so much better than we had hoped. And people who are just seeing bits of it now because Fox is posting songs online are saying the same thing. It's a lot better than they hoped for. It's not the 1975 movie. It's very different. It's almost line for line the same from what I understand, but it's visually and character-wise, it is a very different interpretation, and I'm glad they did that, because I think if they just directly remade the original, it wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have been enjoyable. It's just, well, this person's obviously trying to be Tim Curry, this person is obviously trying to be Barry Bostwick, the sets look the same, and it would have been pointless. No, they're definitely doing something new, and I give them a lot of credit for that, Because, I'm sure they knew going in. Rocky's just a movie that is very hard to remake because so many people would have so many, expectations about it. But, they seem to have done a really good job, and I have to give them a thumbs up for that. What else? I already talked about coming to see Pittsburgh shows if you can this month. What else? Let's see, next month, November 5th, is when I hop back to Rochester, New York to play Trixie and Crim. Crim I'm not as worried about. That's, I'm going to try to play with that part a little bit, try to make it funny, maybe, sit on a different audience member's lap every time I pop up and have to give a speech or something, but Trixie's the one that's worrying me because I don't know exactly what to do. I know it has to be sexy, it has to be funny, it has to be something unexpected, I have to do something unique with it, and I realize that when you play Trixie, you have a lot of weight on your shoulder because you have to get the movie started off in a memorable way. So yeah, I think a lot of the next month is just going to be trying to figure out, how do I be a good Trixie? I've seen so many, like, Pittsburgh Trixies in the past that did greatly different things than the one before them. What can I pull from those? What worked, what didn't work, what did audiences really enjoy? Should I have it where, I have stuff written on different parts of my body where if I take my shirt off, you'll see something funny. I don't know. But yeah, something I have to think about. Alrighty. So I think I covered everything I wanted to cover in this one. First and foremost, get to Pittsburgh this month. See Rocky in Pittsburgh. They're doing it every weekend in October. This is your friendly neighborhood man of Magenta Wake, also known as just plain Steve. Bye.